When I was a teenager, I bought this Santana book of tabs and I learned every note in it. Well, almost. But one of the things I really noticed was there's a lot of notes in this book. There's not just pentatonic scales, there's a lot more going on. But for some reason, my teenage brain didn't really ask why. But all these years later now, I know it's modal. And like I said in a recent video about modes, you don't need to overcomplicate it if the concept is new to you. One way you can attack it is just simply memorizing the Dorian shapes on the guitar. And then once you get a hang of it, you can study it in deeper. But here's Dorian, A minor Dorian. This would be essentially the scale that Santana uses. I know it's not originally a Santana song as Tito Puente, but still, it's Dorian, it's A Dorian, and the scale shape would be this. I learned these licks, and I wondered what these extra notes are. And like I've been teaching on a Patreon group, you can envision A minor pentatonic overlapping the Dorian scale. It's quite easy to see, easy shape 1 as I call it. And then just add in the Dorian notes when you want that extra color. That one is so colorful, especially because our ear is not used to hearing those extra notes from Dorian yet. We know all our standard, minor pentatonic blues rock licks. But then you just drop into one of those extra Dorian notes and it sounds really cool. It's more melodic. It's kind of Santana. Now, if you have played any of his songs, you may notice that, well, he's not just staying right up here, he's moving around. And we can, of course, do that too. It's just a series of notes. And so if you envision extension shape, so, the little box at the top of A minor pentatonic, and then just memorize where the Dorian notes go from there, that's the extension shape. And there is the notes of Dorian. Again, you can hear how colorful they are. And then you can do all the rest of what you're already maybe good at with minor pentatonic. So remember, just C minor pentatonic and then see the extra Dorian notes on top. Now you can improvise already quite easily in this Dorian mode. You've got easy shape minor pentatonic, Dorian notes added, and maybe you've got the extension shape, Dorian notes added as well. That does sound really cool. It's instantly Santana. And I think when you look at a lot of the licks that he plays on Oye Como Va and other songs, I think we can hear or see in the tabs that that's kind of what he was thinking. He was thinking minor pentatonic in a lot of the classic rock licks, but then adding those extra notes that he probably found in the original Tito Puente song. Here's the first lick from the song, which is arguably like extension shape of A minor pentatonic, but with those Dorian notes added. That's just the easy method, right? That's the way to get around actually understanding what Dorian is. Now you could play it, but if you don't really understand what Dorian is, you might not be able to use it in other situations because you won't be able to recognize when a song is Dorian. And the thing is, it's actually very easy to recognize Dorian. In this case, this song, Oye Como Va, has only got 2 chords, and that is so common with Dorian songs. They're jam songs, right? They go on and on and on, and they never really seem to resolve. But whenever you see a minor chord and a major chord up a string, it's very likely to be Dorian, especially if that's the only 2 chords of the song. Now, sometimes you'll see it as A minor 7 and D7, but it's the same difference, right? You've got a minor chord, and then you're going up a fourth, up a string, to a chord with a major third. But basically, you got A minor to D, or A minor 7 to D7, and you have that Dorian sound. So you can look for that anywhere on the fretboard. You might say, what about this key? This is G minor. That was G minor to C or C7. In fact, that's just the chords of Santana's Evil Ways. So there's another Dorian Santana song. Again, you can just see it move up a string from a minor chord to a major chord or a dominant chord. It's easy to spot them once you know that kind of code. And again, Evil Ways, I think, is just those two chords. I'm not sure there's even a bridge if I remember, but maybe I better check that. So how do you get good at Dorian? Well, you can just use all those classic minor pentatonic licks, right? You can even add in the blue note if you like. But then just use those extra Dorian notes every now and then. You can just use them sparingly. Sometimes it's cool to just land on one of those notes. Or you could use them a lot. You can really whip around the Dorian scale with a lot of pull-offs and slides like that. It sounds a little more exotic, right? And don't forget, you've got extension shape. Ooh, that's so colorful. Again, that's just the only Dorian note that I used there was the last one. That B note. So cool, because our ear is not yet used to hearing that note because we're so used to pentatonic scales. I love pentatonic scales, but man, those extra notes on the right moment of the right song is so cool because that's where so much of the color is. And you'll notice that Santana even does this little hammer on from, what's this F natural? What's that doing there? There's no F natural in G major. There's no F natural in A Dorian. There's no F natural in A minor pentatonic. What? It doesn't matter. The note's wrong, but he's hammering very quickly to the F sharp, the Dorian note, right? So good. That's such a cool melody. I mean, maybe that's Tito Puente's melody. Very good. But then you'll see he just plays a bog standard minor pentatonic lick after that. Santana is so good at having those extra little phrases that are sometimes quite buried underneath and quiet. He just fills in the extra space, but not obtrusively, right? He's good at leaving empty space, but he's good at having that little extra, you know what I mean? Sometimes he plays them so softly that you can actually barely hear them. And if you look through the tabs of some of his songs, you'll see notes in places where you thought, wow, I never heard anything there before. It's these little tiny extra notes that he's putting in there. Just like when we're telling a story and sometimes we say things like, you know what I mean? Maybe a little quieter than the actual story. It's very effective. It's very conversational, you could say. All our favorite bends still work in Dorian, right? On our Patreon, we talk a lot about where are the best places to bend in pentatonic. In easy shape, it's here, it's here, it's here. All those work, and of course, an extension shape. And there's that lick again. I like that one. All our blue notes are good too. The blue notes work. The pentatonic works. The blue notes work. Our favorite bends work. Even whatever that crazy F natural is works. A lot of times you can just grab a note that doesn't make sense at all. As long as you're resolving it quickly, it's going to sound cool. Now how many notes do we have? Pentatonic is pentatonic, it's 5. Add the blue note in, that's 6. But Dorian is a 7-note scale, so we kind of have 8 if we really wanted them. And then there's crazy notes like Santana's adding in, that's 9, 10, I don't know. It's almost like every note is possible, if you play it in the right order. And Santana was certainly able to play those notes in the right order, that's for sure. Now, if you still find Dorian a little confusing, I did too for so many years. It just took me a lot of repetition of hearing the concepts and going through it in my mind. So here's another video on Dorian that we did recently. You'll see over time it does sink in, and then it starts to become kind of obvious, and you start to seek out those cool notes. Thanks very much for watching. My name is Blue Morris, and I teach guitar lessons. I'll see you in the next one.